Brought to you by Penguin.
Everybody should know this. The Science of Eating for a Lifetime of Health. Written and read by me, Dr. Federica Amati. Preface. Why I wrote this book. Growing up, my parents had a nickname for me, which was at least partly affectionate. It was maestrina, which translates from the Italian for little teacher, and they would call me that because I loved nothing more than sharing my knowledge on my latest discovery or learning, constantly sharing it at every opportunity with anyone who would listen, regardless of whether they were actually interested or not. As any parent of a young child knows, there are hundreds of discoveries and learnings every day. So I can imagine now, as a parent myself, that the constant updates from me were quite tiring. My beloved nonna on my father's side was a teacher, and she adored me as much as I did her. So I relished my label of maestrina, as it brought me closer to her. I also loved writing stories, mostly starring one of the various pets from a menagerie-style household, and sharing them. Hindsight is a beautiful thing. So looking back now, my work as a nutrition educator and scientific writer seems a natural evolution. But the real inspiration to write this book came from the people that I work with. My job as a nutritionist is to facilitate a better understanding of the importance of one of our daily requirements, the food we all need to eat to survive. Bringing back the connection with our food, the pleasure it can bring and its role as an ally, not an enemy, is often the biggest step in my one-to-one work. Being a nutrition educator, I have the privilege and responsibility of communicating the impact which our diet has on health, longevity, and disease to a huge variety of people, from medical students to schools, community centres, journalists, executives, and fellow scientists. I'm sitting in my office, listening to one of my clients tell me about her usual diet, how she feels tired every single day, doesn't recognise herself in the mirror, and thinks that her perception of herself and her actual self feel like two separate people. She's disconnected with her body, the food she eats is never a pleasure, and it's doing nothing to nourish her physically or mentally. In fact, she feels that her body is constantly letting her down. She exercises to try and reach a specific number on the scale, but it remains elusive to her. This is our first session, and my main aim is to understand her context, and her wishes. She is embarking on fertility treatment, which is a huge emotional, physical, and financial investment. I am part of her team, and I take that role very seriously. Together, we explore how and why food can have such an impact on her ovulation, the quality of her eggs, the success of her fertility treatment, and the future health of herself and her possible children. On our third consultation a few months into the changes she is implementing, she is feeling much better. She's stopped weighing herself every day, she actually enjoys food for the first time in her adult life, and she feels better in her own body. Her blood markers have improved and her doctors are happy with her progress and ready to begin treatment. I tell her about the impact of her ovulatory cycle on her metabolism, prepare her for the likely impacts of the drugs she will be taking, and reassure her that her nutritional status is now in a much better place for her to begin her journey. She looks at me and says in her melodious Scottish accent, "You know, Fede, you've changed my life. I just feel like everybody should know this." And so the seed for this book, already noted on my wish list of the things I might do when I grow up, was firmly planted, inspired by the clients I've worked with at all stages of their lives and their resounding positive feedback for how empowering having nutrition as a tool is for them. The research and innovation constantly evolving in the field of nutrition is encouraging and continues to reinforce the power that food holds over our well-being. My desire is to help more people learn how to create their own unique toolkit for a longer, healthier life through daily food choices as their biggest ally for long-term health and happiness. Crucially, I want to communicate the importance of a life course approach, because we all live in a complex continuum looking after ourselves and loved ones at different stages. Another one of my favourite clients is a gentleman in his early 60s. His wife came to see me and essentially convinced him that he too should book an appointment. At first, he was sceptical of what I could possibly teach him about eating.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?